I convinced myself of two things. I'm the most qualified person to beat him, and I know how to get things done.
If you can be convinced that you cannot defeat Donald Trump, will you stand down?
Well, it depends if the Lord Almighty comes down and tells me that, I might do that.
Like the Blues Brothers, President Biden says it's going to take a message from God to drop out. In his exclusive ABC News interview with George Stephanopoulos. Meanwhile, more and more Democrats revolt. Biden surrogate and Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey saying the president should carefully evaluate his path forward. And former Obama advisor David Axelrod warning that Biden is, quote, dangerously out of touch with the concerns people have about his capacities. So here to react is former fundraiser for President Obama, Don Peebles. Don, thanks for being with us this morning. You know, I'm curious. Democrats seem to have broken into two camps. There are those in full-on panic that I think appropriately worry, how do we go forward with Joe Biden? Maybe because they want to win elections. I worry for the sake of the country. But then there are those that are saying, well, other Democrats are bedwetting. They're freaking out. You know, Republicans stand by Trump, and one bad debate and everybody bails on Joe Biden. Which side do you find yourself on, Don? Do you find yourself on the ones panicking or saying everyone else calm down?
Well, look, I was always apprehensive about Biden for a second term. President Biden ran for office, and he was supposed to be a transitional president. And that meant that Kamala Harris was going to learn how to be president and step up to be president. That's not the case. She hasn't done a great job. And now the president is saying that he's the best candidate. I do not believe that he is the best candidate.
Can I just jump in? Is that a personal view of yours, or do you think that was a point of view that was held by a lot of perhaps people in the Obama world, that this will be, as you pointed out, transitional, that this will step the Democratic Party into the future, and that future was Kamala Harris?
Yeah, well, I think, look, the expectation for most of the Democratic fundraising community was that President Biden was going to do one term and move on. And Harris was going to learn to be president. And that is why he got support from a broad spectrum of Democratic fundraisers and Democratic leaders.
Wow. So there was already a little bit of discontent with the idea that he's going to run again, he's going to move on. And now we see his actual capability, his mental capacity. What do you think? You raise funds. He's pointing to fundraising, by the way, but we also hear stories about donors who are starting to join the chorus along with congressmen, maybe a few senators, certainly the media, who are backing away from Joe Biden. What do you think will be the move here? Do you think Joe Biden can kind of withstand this snowball of opposition within his own party?
Well, he's prepared for it because he entered every Democratic primary and has locked up the delegates. So it's his decision and his decision alone. And on his broadcast on the interview with Stephanopoulos yesterday, he indicated it would take God to come down and get him out of the race. So if he continues to have that approach and have that attitude, he will be the Democratic nominee. I do not think most people expected him to run for a second term. And now they're panicking.
What about donors, Don, since that's the world you know about? I mean, is there a donor? Is there one big donor? Is there one packager and fundraiser who could exert the influence? I just kind of look at this and wonder, what is the straw that breaks the camel's back? Like, is it a group of senators put together by Mark Warner? Is it Hakeem Jeffries having a phone call tomorrow with Democratic congressmen? Is it some fundraiser that you know about? What is the straw that breaks the camel's back?
Look, I don't think there really is one. President Biden is a proud man. He feels that he's capable of running the country. Many people don't think he is. And also, he's still bitter after 2016 when his president, who he served as vice president under Barack Obama, said he would not support him in a primary contest against Hillary Rodham Clinton. That was the time Biden should have run. He would have been elected, and he would have a second term that he'd be finishing up now, and the country would be turning a page generationally, which is what they need to do.
So one last question, Don. If he's still bitter about 2016 and Obama putting his weight behind Hillary, how much influence today is there with Joe Biden and Barack Obama? How much influence is there for Barack Obama?
not enough to get him out of the race. I think the Democrats are in a position now where they've got to dance with the person they came with. They put him in this position. They've known all along that his capacity was diminishing day after day, week after week, but they propped him up and hid him from the media. And now all of a sudden, the one time he has exposure to a give and take with President Trump, he fails, and now they're panicking. They've got to coalesce around him and do the best they can. I believe that Donald Trump will likely be the next president of the United States against Biden or Harris. So I don't think Harris is an improvement.
Wow. What a fascinating perspective coming from someone on that side of the aisle, Don. Really appreciate the conversation. Worthy of more time and more curiosity and in-depth. Thank you so much, Don Peebles, this morning.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.